episode 13 of Between a Rock and a Bald Spot.
Yeah. You, the audience, are the bald spot. No, let me.
Exactly.
Me.
So I have
He's the one with problems.
I have some bad news for everyone. I have a bad announcement to make. I have been diagnosed with bald.
Why, Lord? Why? Why have you forsaken him?
Exactly.
I don't know if that's offensive. I'm Catholic, if that makes it any better. I'm not. I mean, it's fun to meme about shit. So if you're offended by that, get fucked, I guess.
Accurate. As a non-practicing Catholic, I'm offended.
You're not even Catholic. All right. Anyways, moving away from religion.
No, let's
get into it real deep. This is a religious podcast now.
Yeah.
We're gonna start today's topic: slavery, and the holy wars. We're about to start the fourth holy war.
Exactly. If we're not starting it, I think someone else is.
Well, that's another time. I'm trying to.
Anyways, speaking of religion, Mindhunter could return. One of the best fucking television shows ever. We were only graced with 2 seasons from it.
Find who now?
Exactly. So we were only given 2 seasons of it. So it very well could have dropped off after season 2. And there was also a big ass fucking gap in between 1 and 2. I didn't know that. I watched season 1 and 2 after 2 had released. So season 1 came out in 2017, and then season 2 didn't fucking come out till 2020.
Is it fucking Firefly, dog?
Basically.
Did Firefly have 2 seasons? I feel like it did. And the first season came out in like 2008 or something, and the second season came out in like 2017.
Damn.
Let's look that up.
That's fucking crazy. So if you're unfamiliar with the show, I highly recommend watching it because it's in my top 5 shows of all time. Basically it's centered around FBI agents. FBI agents, exactly. FBI agents in the late 70s as they launch a task force.
What's it called?
That is Mindhunters.
Oh, okay, I found it.
It's centered around FBI agents, and they're launching like the beginning of some fucking task force unit. But basically they're like interviewing like serial killers and like doing profiles on them. Really fucking good. They also tried getting as accurate of looking replications of the serial killers as they could. So the actors they were casting, between their looks and makeup, tried going for one as much as they could. And they did a really fucking good job. Especially with like Ed Kemper, which is one of the serial killers featured. He looks pretty fucking identical. So something that was interesting to me, just for reference, okay, because labeling it as one of the greatest television shows of all time is kind of like a flex. And I wanted to get a couple of numbers, okay? Because there's 3 shows that come to mind that I always hear of people like labeling as like the best show ever. So this is one of them.
Okay.
Breaking Bad is another one. In Game of Thrones, minus that last season, is usually flung around as another one. Okay, so Mindhunter, 97 on tomato meter, 95% popcorn meter. Super fucking high scores, okay? Breaking Bad, which is usually the other one that's like regarded as the best television show of all time, 96% tomato meter, 97% popcorn meter. So Mindhunters goes up 1 for tomato, down 2 for popcorn. Game of Thrones was 89% and 85%. So it beats and is beaten slightly by Breaking Bad and blows Game of Thrones out of the water. So if you fucking use references like that for anything, that might help you understand, like, okay, it's actually a really good show. Like I said, there's only 2 seasons, so that kind of sucks. But it very well could be returning. So, one of the stars, Holt McCallany, spoke with David Fincher, and after season 2 aired, it was like during COVID. David Fincher like hard stopped, was like, yeah, I'm not doing Mindhunter anymore. It wasn't even like Netflix canceled it. It was him. He was like, yeah, no, we're not doing it anymore. Um, Weird fucking flex. I don't know. But Holt met with David and pretty much told him there is a chance that it could return. But if it does, it would not return as a series. So evidently, it might return as 3 2-hour long movies. I think directly for Netflix, because David Fincher's kind of like a Netflix poster boy. He does lots of
True.
Netflix shit now. Maybe exclusively.
I
Netflix
think
shit.
exclusively.
Yeah, I don't think he's released non-Netflix shit
He
in
might
like
be like
fucking 15 years.
Yeah, he might be just like contracted.
Potentially.
Yeah, does David Fincher have kids? Good Google search.
I wish I was his kid, honestly. But yeah, anyways, do yourself a favor. If you need something to watch, you will not be disappointed in that show. It is really fucking good. I've also always had a fascination with like serial killers and that type of thing anyways, so I was naturally drawn to it.
Hell yeah.
Very fucking cool though. There's not a lot of well, I actually don't think there's any action in it, but it's not like an actiony show. It's definitely like a thriller. You kind of have to pay attention to details type show, which I like those. I do sometimes have to be in the mood for it. Like sometimes I just want to watch fucking one dude punch another dude. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes I want to think about shit.
I don't ever want to think about shit. This says Fincher recently extended his Netflix contract for another 3 years until 2027. So
Really?
that was a while ago, but he is exclusive to Netflix.
I mean, hell yeah. Shout out paychecks.
So does each episode have like a different person it follows, or is it?
No. So I have a list of the killers it follows. So Ed Kemper, Jerry Brudos, Richard Speck, Charles Manson, David Berkowitz, William Pierce, William Henry Hance, Elmer Wayne Henley Jr., Wayne Bertram Williams, Monty Rissell, and Dennis Rader, who is also known as the BTK killer. Oh, and something that fucking jimmied my John was I think they started in season 1, but season 2 literally is like setting up an overarching serial killer that it's gonna bring into the fold at some point, and it ends up getting fucking it's a unclosed plot thread because the show just ended, which sucked.
God damn it. Fuck, dude.
I hope the movies happen. I would have preferred it return as a show. However, movies would be sick too. But also, the last season was 5 fucking years ago. So, like, what are you gonna do about the fact that everyone's fucking getting older? You know?
True. Hey, they can do things though that they can make it work.
Yeah, true. Shout out CGI and AI. CGI AI. I'm assuming you've never watched that show because you don't watch shit.
No, I've never seen it.
What a pussy.
Did you say Tex Watson was in that show?
Fuck no.
Oh.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the He's the guy that was with Charles Manson or whatever.
Okay.
Where in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever, fucking Brad Pitt's character fucking is like, I don't know.
Is he
like,
the can guy?
Nah, that's the lady.
Oh, that's right.
He's like, what was your name again? Rex? Nah, I was dumber than that. And she's like, shoot him, Tex. And then he makes the dog fucking bite that kid's arm off or whatever.
Spoilers for that fucking 6-year-old movie.
I mean, come on now. You're watching this podcast. I don't think we've done an episode without spoilers.
True, actually. If it's like something from this year, I try not to. But yeah, like once you've went a year without consuming the media, I feel like that's on you.
I mean, like I said, the craziest thing is when we went to go see I was gonna say Black Adam for some reason, but it was Shazam. And we were in line to get our concessions, and the dude looks at us and he's like, Iron Man dies at the end. And I was just like, brother, what the fuck? Why would you say that out loud? Because, I mean, I think Shazam came out the same year as Endgame. And the person I was with hadn't seen Endgame yet. So. Oopsie.
Oh, yeah, it did. I was going to say you were wrong about that. I really didn't think it did, but yeah, it did. 2019.
Yeah, what month, too? Because it was, like, pretty close.
April 5th. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Because I think Endgame came out
April 26th. Jesus Christ. Literally the same month. Insane in the fucking membrane.
Yeah, and we went to see that like the opening weekend. I saw both of those opening weekend, but
I feel like you should get severely punished for doing shit like that.
I just looked at him and I was like, bro, it's still in the theater. There's people in line behind us who are going to watch Endgame right now. I can't believe you said that out loud.
Yeah, like I feel like he should have been fucking beat up by everyone in line.
Beat up
honestly.
is crazy, dude. But that is, I mean,
yeah, because shit like that just fucking ruins people's experience, dude. So,
okay, as if you don't
I'm
intentionally.
I don't anymore. I did for a little bit, and then I realized I like stopped enjoying shit because I was like, well, I already know I already know the interesting thing. I just went through this weird phase where like I just had to know what was happening in shit. Even if I planned on watching it or playing it or whatever, I just had to know. Like if I couldn't watch it that day, I just had to fucking know. But I quickly realized that it was actually diminishing my enjoyment of stuff. So
oh yeah, this is
once I realized that, I stopped doing it.
This is one of those times where Daniel would say, "We love a character arc."
Don't bring his slobber into this, please. Leave that at home.
Oh, can I recreate that Asmon photo that he sent us earlier?
No.
He holds his cup weird. He holds it like this or some shit.
I do that when I'm walking. Like if I'm carrying a cup, I hold it like that.
Where's this fucking picture? Dude, how far do I have to scroll?
Yes.
Hell yeah, I didn't even see this. It's the fucking North Korean kids walking on that fucking field. I'm sorry. Should I show chat?
No.
Yeah, it's funnier if they don't know.
I feel like that's actually okay, but
well, I don't even know how to open this without doxing everything.
Can you technically offend North Koreans?
Yes, you can offend them.
Well, no, because they couldn't be watching this, so I don't think, in theory, it would offend them.
That's how you.
Am I right or am I wrong?
He's like,
yeah. Anyways, I carry shit like that if I'm walking.
It's just no. Like he is always drinking out of like a cup with a straw, and so he always picks it up like he's holding the lid on or something. because he's like doesn't want to spill that shit or something. I don't fucking know. If it's the only way you drink beverage, then I don't know if you know,
That
but
weird fella has probably spilled plenty of drinks on himself, so it's probably like a defense thing his brain automatically does.
well, I also don't know if you know this or not, but he doesn't drink water like ever.
I mean,
He drinks.
it. Who cares?
He
He's skinny, so
exclusively,
whatever.
yeah, he's skinny because he drinks only soda, and he eats a fucking potato and a skirt steak for fucking dinner.
That sounds good. That kid's fucking house falling apart when he's a billionaire is fucking crazy. I don't think he's actually a billionaire, but he's definitely a millionaire. That's crazy to me.
Why? He just doesn't care.
I was gonna say, I mean, he's just gonna keep fucking stacking up money too, I guess. Whatever.
Oh,
I mean, as long as he's
spend.
happy.
That's the thing. He doesn't even like spend his money. He like doesn't spend his shit.
Good.
Like he could
Hopefully
hire.
he doesn't have a will either.
Yeah, he could hire maids or something. Yeah, fucking let the state take it all. He definitely would not let that happen.
He still lives with his parents or something too, doesn't he? Or like they live with him.
Nah, he lives on his own. I'm pretty sure.
Does he? Okay, because
You're thinking of Wings, I think,
I'm absolutely
Or
not
Boogie.
mixing him and Wings up.
or Boogie.
I don't think it's Boogie either. Anyways, let's move on.
We should, you know what?
So,
We should have a Boogie section in the podcast. Let's add a Boogie section.
every day or every fucking podcast.
Yeah, every
or
podcast, and
or just
we'll-
this podcast.
Just this podcast, yeah. No. Like every time we put an episode out, we should have an update on Boogie's health because he either has dying of cancer or some other disease. Every time I fucking hear any news about him, it's usually about how he's dying, and then the next week I hear about how he faked he was dying for fucking money. Dude, it's
Disgusting. So there is an Untitled Marvel movie that was announced to be releasing
like-
on.
Is that like Untitled Goose Game?
Yeah, I think it has to be.
Oh, okay. So the movie, it's just called Untitled Marvel movie. Perfect.
Currently,
Releasing
because
when?
there's no title for it. So, an Untitled Marvel movie is going to be dropping on December 15th, 2028.
Okay.
The first thing I read said December 10th. So which one is it? Because it's 15th, that completely discredits my theory.
Which was?
If it got announced for December 10th, I was heavily thinking that that was going to be X-Men because 10X. Like December 10th seems like such a weird fucking date to be like, yeah, we're going to drop this movie on this date. So I was like, it sounds like to me that would be X-Men. I guess I completely made up December 10th because everything I'm seeing now says 15th.
It's funny you would say that though, because do you even know what December means?
Oh, that was the other one. Xmas. That was the other thing. That was the other reason why I was like, oh, I bet it's fucking X-Men because Christmas, Christmas,
Yeah.
Xmas.
Yeah, more Christ. So if you look at the calendar, which we're using a Gregorian calendar these days, the months have Latin-based names starting in September, which is
Right.
which is 7, right? But September's not the 7th month.
Like Uriel Septum.
Yeah, and then October is 8, November is 9, and December is 10. But we added July and August for the Caesars, Julius and Augustus. So
Oh, that's sweet of us.
yeah, it was very sweet of us Americans in the year 2025 to retroactively go back in time and add those months in for the calendar to be correct. So anyways, I was just gonna say that if it was a 10-10 thing, because December's technically the 10th month because December. That would have been kind of cool, but it's just fucking whatever now.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was December 10th. Literally everything I'm seeing right now says December 15th. It's definitely December 15th that it was announced for.
Oh yeah, maybe you were looking at something else.
So fuck my theory, I guess. But anyways, yeah, that was my theory for the movie. I was like, oh, that's got to be like an intentional thing. Like it's X-Men. It has to be X-Men.
Maybe it is X-Men.
It could not be X-Men, but it definitely is X-Men. But now I don't know. Maybe it's not X-Men.
So it's slated for. So hold on, didn't they just cancel 2 films?
Pushed them back.
I thought they canceled something. They had like 5 coming out and they canceled like 2 of them. We talked about this. We talked about this. We're gonna have to go back.
We don't usually talk about Marvel stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, we never talk about Marvel stuff. We never talked about it ever.
So, what do you think it was?
What do I think it was?
Yeah. So I do know they canceled Armor Wars. That's not coming out anymore.
Who?
Or it's been like fucking severely pushed back. If it's not canceled, it has no release date.
Was Harrison Ford was in the newest Captain America, right?
Correct.
Didn't they already have a fucking Thaddeus Ross in the Hulk film?
It was. Yeah, in the Hulk film, and it was the same actor as well. So he was in that, and he was in Civil War, and briefly in either Infinity War or Endgame, maybe both. Oh, I think it was just Infinity War. I don't think he appeared in Endgame.
No, I don't think he did. So why did they change him? Why did they change him to Harrison Ford? Yeah,
because he died.
The actor died?
Yes.
Ah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. R.I.P. him.
Yeah. Kid looks like what the fuck is that guy's name? He's the guy that plays JJJ.
J. Jonah Jameson?
Yeah.
Hell no. He looks like him a little bit. He had a mustache like him.
True. What the fuck? Okay, dude.
Thaddeus is such a cool name.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not really relevant to anything, but I'm just looking at pictures of Harrison Ford and this one came up.
That boy's name is William Hurt.
Ah, thank you. Here, I'll send it to you just so you can see it too.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me.
Exactly. It's too late. You're in a domestic abuse scandal at this point. You are the abusee. Abused? Whatever.
Can it be David Busey instead?
I think the film coming out is gonna be Blade. Mostly just because I want it to be Blade.
It could be.
Realistically though, I imagine it would be, I mean, you think they would introduce a new hero? I don't think they usually, well, I guess if you look at the release lineup, they usually do have like a big, because they put like the mainline Avengers films out. They've been putting those out around like March or something. March, April. For the most part, I think.
sure.
So it could be a standalone hero. What do you think? You're thinking
like an introduction? It could be.
So if it's not X-Men, what do you think?
Let's see who. I need. All right, hold on. I need to see like the release, like the slate of releases coming up. Because if there's gonna be someone coming in. All right, so we have Spider-Man, Wonder Man.
Wonder Man?
Yeah.
Okay.
X-Men supposed to be coming out.
Is fucking Modak a fucking Marvel character?
Yeah, he's
Modoc,
the
how the fuck
MODOK. Yeah, he's a Ant-Man villain.
was he? Was he in the fucking most recent Ant-Man?
He was. So there's the Shang-Chi 2, Blade at some point, Secret Wars, Doomsday, Spider-Man 4, Wonder Man.
Brother, who the fuck is Wonder Man?
Dude, I don't know. There's so many like.
Hell yeah, he looks kind of sick.
This is So this is a year after Secret Wars,
Okay.
which is a year after Doomsday. Um, if they're taking, it could end up being another Avengers movie, and maybe they don't want to title it yet because A, it could change, but B, maybe something happens in Doomsday that would like be leading to it,
Yeah.
and they don't want to like announce it yet.
Well, hold on. Have they done anything with Sentry yet?
Anything in the sense of
Like in the MCU, have they used Sentry at all?
yes.
Oh, they have? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about Blue Marvel?
No.
What about Hercules? Yo, what if we get a fucking...
Not technically.
What if we get like a... That would be pretty sick. What about Luke Cage?
Could be something cagey.
They haven't done Luke Cage yet, have they? I mean, he was...
Not in the MCU, but in the Netflix shows, he was in that.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like... I know that those are technically part of the MCU, sort of, in a way. But like... I feel like... I mean, so the thing is because the multiverse exists already in universe, they can bring in whatever fucking characters they want at any time.
It's true.
Which I think a lot of people would call them like a cop out for that. But like, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see like, I mean, at some point they're probably going to start reusing characters. Like we technically already have a second Captain America. Maybe even a third one, depending on how you want to think about US Agent.
Technically a fourth one if you want to include another one. Technically, it could be Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider would be sick.
Could be a solo Ghost Rider movie.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So my guesses would be Ghost Rider, X-Men. It could be Avengers versus X-Men. So it could be an Avengers movie, but it's like the Avengers versus X-Men because that was a comic line they did.
Or what if they're gonna do a 2-part to Secret Wars, like Infinity War had Endgame after that?
It could be. I think that Secret Wars is supposed to be that for Doomsday.
Oh, okay. I see. Or what if it's a trilogy? Or what if it's 4 films? Like,
could be.
Like Avengers all the way up to Endgame.
Could also be Battle World. Though I think they're gonna save Battle World for once X-Men is definitely brought into the fold.
Isn't Battle World the place where they find Valkyrie and Hulk in Thor 3 and hanging out with Jeff Goldblum?
No.
And that was a meme because it's like a world where technically it's like a trash world, but you know.
No, they kind of fucked up a really good Hulk storyline by putting that in. So that was from the World Breaker Hulk storyline.
I personally was not a big fan of like that was fine, I thought, but then him doing the I combine the brains with the brawn or whatever, and in Endgame, I was kind of
Yeah.
It was like kind of a cheap way for Mark Ruffalo to get over being
Hulk. Sorry, World War Hulk is the storyline.
Ah, okay. World War Hulk, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're about to be fucking experiencing.
True. Just drop a Hulk on them.
Exactly. No, that comic line's pretty fucking sick. Basically, Hulk gets real big sad, big mad, and basically goes fucking
Hulk smash,
crazy style.
Yeah, he bounces on the world crazy style. Got it.
And so exactly. And so the Illuminati send him to the planet that he's on in Ragnarok. No, that's actually, so in Marvel there was an Illuminati, and it's like Doctor Strange, Reed Richards, Tony Stark, Black Bolt.
Who?
Basically,
did you say Thunderbolt?
Black Bolt.
Oh. Shout out all the brain people doing brain things, except
and
fuck off Bruce Banner.
Professor X. That was the other one.
Yeah, okay. We got all the brains except for fucking Bruce Banner. Fuck that guy in particular. Send him to a different planet. He's green. We don't fuck with those green people.
But yeah,
shit.
Basically they ruined a really good fucking plot line for Hulk, which really sucked by having him go there.
That does kind of suck.
We'll never get like a perfect adaptation. They could technically still do it. But yeah, they send him to Sakaar. The Illuminati does.
Doesn't he just kind of end up there, like in? What is it after Ultron?
Yeah, it never explains per se how he got there, because at the end of Ultron, he like flies off because basically he's like, oh, Hulk bad.
Yeah.
So he like fucking flies off into the sunset.
Yeah, Hulk bad. I'm gonna go fuck off. So, because I think it's because he was about to like hurt ScarJo or whatever the fuck, Black Widow, and then he was like, I don't want to do that. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Yeah,
I don't think he was about to. I think he was scared.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he's been fucking whipped and nay-nayed. And then he just randomly shows up in Thor 3, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Exactly. Okay, so supposedly he travels to a wormhole, which puts him on Sakaar.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's how Thor ends up there, right?
Technically, Hela. They're taking the fucking
Oh yeah.
What's the Rainbow Bridge shit called? Anyways, they're doing that.
The Bifrost.
Hela hits him. The Bifrost, yeah. Hela hits him, and he like flies out of the Bifrost, and that randomly does it.
Yeah. Shout out fucking Idris Elba being dead as hell.
True. R.I.P. him. He was really cool in the Thor movies. Honestly, he might have been my favorite part of the Thor movies.
Shout out Heimdall.
True. Shout out Heimdall indeed. Yeah, so X-Men, Ghost Rider, or a cool Avengers plot that they don't want to announce just yet.
Or John Wick from Fortnite.
Yeah. Or John Wick from Fortnite.
Could you imagine they start pulling in some fucking like collab movies or something? Because I mean, technically Deadpool's part of the MCU now. They could do shit like that.
I don't like the thought of that.
That could
Moving on.
Oh, hold on. So what if it would be kind of out of pocket and like out of the blue, I think, but like what if they did a villain film?
I think they should. I would be, especially if they did it better than fucking Sony, who likes to do villain movies except fucking turn him into a anti-hero.
Yeah, and so that's what I was thinking. It's like Sinister Six was like the one that came to mind. Like obviously Sony owns the fucking Spider-Man shit. But like, I don't know. They've got villains they haven't used yet. Like, what if we do like a almost like a like you don't realize that you're watching the creation of whoever so and so villain. You're just like watching their origin story. But like the whole time you're like rooting for the character, and then at the end they like pull a fucking Anakin and start killing the younglings.
That'd be sick.
And then like
they should do something like that.
yeah, like I think Joker worked really well. Like DC has actually been doing those a lot better than Sony has been anyway. But I think they
That's true.
I think they could they should do some villain films, dude.
They should. Imagine we could have gotten one with Kang had Jonathan Majors not fucking done a fucky wucky.
I still think introducing him in the Loki TV show is kind of whack, but whatever.
It was whack. However, have you actually watched that?
The first season, yeah.
Okay. So it's very much so like you could definitely not watch the Loki season 1 and not have missed anything. Because they recap enough in Quantumania.
So I haven't watched that.
And do additional exposition that you could skip that and it would be okay.
All right. I mean, I guess that's okay then.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely would have been okay. I am really curious how they're gonna fucking blow past setting him up as being a fucking baddie. Like, are they gonna just not address it? Or are they gonna address it in a memeing what type way? Dude, in Doomsday, what they could do in Doomsday, they could fucking have Doom like walking away from like his corpse, and obviously like his face will be turned where you can't see. That'd be kind of funny. I think they should either do something like that or probably not address it at all.
By the way, if Doctor Doom is not like absolutely fucking badass, I'm gonna be pissed.
Same. I also kind of wish they'd stop killing off villains.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these fucking actually pretty much all these villains are
one-time
common recurring issues.
Yeah.
So they could have like a villain come in and be an issue. They see, it's actually kind of funny because they were kind of technically heading that way with Kang because he appeared in Quantumania and in Loki season 1.
Yeah.
So they were kind of setting that up, and they're supposed to be the Kang Dynasty movie. So they were actually going to kind of do that in a way. And I don't count Thanos either. Because he was just 2 movies, and then they kind of quickly dispatched him. So
yeah, but when was the first time they teased Thanos?
In the sense of you see him,
yeah,
or
when he's first introduced in the first Avengers film. Do you realize that?
Yeah,
I mean, he's not a antagonist immediately, but like
yeah, it's the post-credit scene.
Yeah, well, I think he's yeah, it's that, and then I think he's in Guardians 1, which is phase 2 technically. So they show him a few times.
It's funny actually, if you look at that Endgame, if you look at that Avengers 1 end credit scene, that's what I was trying to say. He's actually, I don't know if I'd say comic accurate because it's like a really ugly purple.
Yeah.
Like the reason almost pink, but
Yeah.
his eyes are very blue, which is how they were supposed to be in the comic, or how they were in the comic rather.
Yeah.
So he's like more like comic accurate looking, but it was kind of gross. So I'm kind of glad they actually changed that.
True.
His fucking ball chin was also more pronounced.
True.
Well.
I don't know. Hopefully Doctor Doom is fucking sick.
Yeah, he needs to be.
I'm gonna be honest. The surprisingly, the Doctor Doom season in Fortnite might be one of my favorite things like ever in a game that's been like a limited time event or season or whatever.
Was that ongoing currently, or was it like in the past?
It was I think it was chapter 5 season 3, but so like chapter 5 was all about like like Greek gods and shit, and then just they randomly threw a fucking Marvel season in, and like one of the POIs changed to his fucking castle, and you could like defeat him, and then when you defeated him you got to like take his fucking medallion that gave you his powers, and like
that's cool.
Well, his powers, you had like his glove and a handgun, and but then they added a limited time event to the thing where sometimes you could go to they call it like the Doom Island, which is like an island that would rift in that was floating in the sky, and you could go there, and if you went there and completed the objective there, you could get one dropped per game. If it dropped, it had like a 2% chance of spawning or something like that, and it dropped a thing where when you picked it up it turned you into Doctor Doom.
Dr. Doom.
And you got to play it, like took all your guns and shit away from you, and you just had his powers and abilities.
I really need them to do him properly.
They have to, because I have to. Like,
he's an issue in so many different storylines, so they're gonna fucking hard lock themselves out of so many different storylines that they could adapt if they like fucking one and done him.
Well, again, they're at the point where they could multiverse fucking whatever, continuity or whatever, but they could just be like, oh well, this is Doctor Doom from this other multiverse. I don't know.
They could. It would probably be cheaper because it's like, instead of RDJing it to where you gotta keep fucking paying him like X amount of money, just
hire some random fuck. Yeah,
just different universe it every couple of movies.
Just hire that one guy that you really fucking don't like. What the fuck is his name?
The list is so long, I don't know.
It's the one guy, Will Poulter.
Oh. Oh, it's not that I dislike him per se.
You just think he's real ugly because you keep checking him out and you're like, that dude's ugly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, speaking of ugly, you know what else is ugly? The fucking next topic.
Exactly. Marathon has been delayed indefinitely.
Probably for the best, actually.
Yeah, in all honesty, I think if they would have ended up releasing what they were gonna release, it would have Concord. Probably not as hard as Concord, but it would not have went well.
It would have been bad. I mean, you got to think there was the theft, and then they had to redo everything, and from
the theft like 3 times too, by the way.
Yeah, from what it sounds like, by the way. Well, so some of that theft was in Destiny and not in Marathon.
That's true.
From what it sounded like, they are purging all of the artwork from that artist. So instead of paying that artist or compensating that artist in some way, it sounds like they just said, fuck you, we're going to just remove all your artwork from the game and redo the entire game in a different style, because we'd rather invest into that than to pay the artist.
That's fucking rude.
Yeah. It's kind of fucking rude. I'm not saying that's what's happening. That's just what it sounds like is happening. They haven't really made a definitive statement on what the fuck they're doing. They said, we're going to take care of the artist. And I don't know what the fuck that means. It honestly kind of sounds like they're going to all artist. They did say what?
No, go ahead.
They did say that they want to shift it to a more darker tone, like the original games from the 90s or whatever. So in that sense, that's good. They said they're going to add proximity chat, VoIP, right? Which was a huge criticism, and I know we talked about it, but they said they want to add more friction. Not those words exactly, but they want to make the experience, they want it to feel like you're going to lose more things, or it's going to be harder to recover if you do lose the things, or they're trying to make it more like Tarkov, because I mean they're already trying to make a niche genre like Tarkov. Like extraction shooters are just really niche in general. And they're trying to make it appeal to a broader audience by making it less niche, you know, and making it more accessible. And everyone was shitting on them for that. So it's good to know that they took a look at it and they said, all right, we need to fix that. Also, keep
that was
in
definitely
mind
for the best.
that Embark has not pushed back Arc Raiders. So that's still coming out this year, and they would have been releasing Marathon real close to Arc Raiders. Similar games, and Arc Raiders is just better in every asset. So I mean,
yeah, Marathon probably would have been dead in the water, honestly.
it literally would have been.
It was coming out September 23rd too, so it was 3 months away from release.
They picked a good window because it's a little before COD. Not that this year's COD is going to be any good. But that's perfect. Like this year's COD is not going to be great. And it's far away enough that like Destiny's having a big expansion coming out in just a few days, really, in like middle of July, I think. And so it would be far away enough from that people are probably like have run through the expansion. So if there was any crossover audience, they would be okay jumping from Destiny to Marathon.
Yeah.
I mean, there still would be some that probably weren't ready to do that. So pushing it back is probably smarter. I don't know. They picked a weird window and they have a lot of problems. It's at the end of the day, Bungie is getting fucking mismanaged into the fucking dirt. And it's because those kids are fucking greedy, especially fucking CEO, man. Fucking
Yeah, I'm really curious. So they didn't give a new release window either, which is kind of crazy. All they said was, in the fall they're gonna give an update and a new release date then. So when it was supposed to be coming out, they'll announce when it will be coming out. And I'm really curious if they end up having to redo enough stuff, and if it still is getting like pushback when they give that update. I kind of wonder if they're just gonna end up scrapping it altogether.
They might just scrap it.
So I know obviously Microsoft released Bungie, but Bungie then went to someone.
So Bungie was independent for like 9 months, and then they're like, we can't fucking do this. I don't know the actual time frame. It felt like 9 months after they broke ties with Microsoft, and then they went to Sony.
Okay, it was Sony. Okay, I wasn't too sure. And now are they still like under Sony technically?
So we skipped some steps there. Technically, they broke with Microsoft and they were independent for a couple years, and then they joined with Activision Blizzard, and then they went their separate ways with Activision Blizzard, and then joined Sony.
And then Sony picked them up.
But okay. I mean, they're currently with Sony was the point. And when they merged with Sony, actually, a lot of people thought Pete Parsons was going to get the boot, but they kept him on. So he gets to buy more sports cars, I guess.
So I wonder if Sony's gonna end up pulling the plug
on Marathon.
Yeah, if that
they need to fucking they need to get rid of Pete Parsons is what the fuck they need to do.
Yeah,
that dude is the greediest son of a fucking bitch that I've ever heard of. Like talk about everyone like at Bungie is like, oh dude, it's like the work environment's great. I love working here, and then like you hear about the ex Bungie employees and like, dude, it was fucking terrible. Like the hours were grueling, like everything was bad. Like I don't know why these people think that it's good or whatever. And then you look at Pete Parsons and he's like, oh, let's lay off 400 people so I can buy some more fucking sports cars. Like he literally
new sports car just came out.
I don't know the number, but he laid off like 400 people and then cut himself like a $20 million check, a bonus.
That's so crazy, dude.
Hey, I just need all of you to stop working so I can pay myself to buy some cars.
Exactly.
Actually, let me go take a peek at the old Marathon Discord real quick and tell you what's going on in there. We'll give it a little Marathon update.
Which I'm sure is gonna be fucking juicy.
Yeah, they're they're actually not going in on anyone right now. And
That's
nobody,
honestly a shocker.
yeah, it is kind of a shocker. I mean, it's kind of been dead. I mean, the news wise, I don't actually see anyone who has any crazy names either. Like they had some crazy names, but I just wonder. Like I bought merch, that's like a little caterpillar thing, and they sold merch, right? And I bought some, and Daniel bought some. Are they going to cancel that line of merch, or like that because is that art even going to be in the game anymore? Is that stolen art on the merch?
I hope so.
Did I contribute to to IP theft, dude?
I hope so.
Oh boy.
So that way I can sue you.
Hell yeah, you can sue me. Exactly. The I don't know. It's really hard to change people's minds once they've made up their minds. And the general consensus is that Marathon is dead on arrival. And they have to make major changes. Like this is like No Man's Sky. Like they No Man's Sky released, they failed to deliver. Everyone was pissed, and the dev went back and they put in so much work to make No Man's Sky like an enjoyable and good game. And they put in all the things that they had promised. And I think it's looked upon pretty favorably these days. It's still, I don't really care for it because it's sci-fi, but I mean, I think a lot of people like it.
Yeah, No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk, they both did complete 180s.
Well,
Like they were.
That's one of those things that I feel like both of those situations, though, I almost feel like not the dev, like not the developer themselves got in trouble, but the like above the studio was like, you need to just put out what you have. Because I know that's definitely what happened to CD Projekt with Cyberpunk, is that they were forced by investors to just release what they had, for the most part. So I don't know. It's like one of those things that, like, at what point do you start looking at the fact that the game is taking so long to develop as like negligence or incompetence? And at what point do you just cut your losses and you're like, whatever, reputation be damned, just fucking put it out?
Yeah.
So I mean, we might get a Marathon. They've put work into it. The game is technically in a working state currently. They might just put it out and fucking chunk the losses, I guess. I don't know.
Potentially, yeah.
Or they just cancel it and it's gone.
Or they could just cancel it, yeah. That's also true. I feel like, I don't know. I wonder if they knew what that was gonna happen with Concord.
No.
Before it happened.
No, nobody who was pushing Concord could even comprehend that it would fail. And in their minds, Concord only failed because the general population is bigoted and homophobic.
Damn.
Yeah. So.
Well, my hype for Marathon is drastically dipped. I will say
you
though,
were real excited for it too, actually.
Yeah, because it was the way it was being proposed was a cool sci-fi, different art style Tarkov, and that sounded kind of cool.
Some Marauders.
Now I would say that art style is still pretty similar.
I mean, art style, yeah, and the fact that Marauders uses World War II guns or whatever, but I don't know. It's still sci-fi, Tarkov.
I will say though, them reviving an IP that existed fucking 25 years ago to completely change everything about it was a really weird flex.
It was like, I didn't even know why they had, like, it had to be that they were looking at old games, and Bungie has never made a 2-word title game ever. It's always been a single word title, and we talked about this. They had to be looking at old games and like, hey, this game's a shooter and it was a single word title. Let's buy this IP. Like, who owned the Marathon IP prior to this? Like,
I'm pretty sure Bungie was the original developers of that.
Were they? They made Marathon before Halo?
Um, I was pretty sure.
Says Sony owns it. Original Marathon games were
Yeah,
developed
Bungie Inc.
by Bungie for the Apple Macintosh. There you go. So I guess it's their IP, but like it's such a weird thing that they would revive that of all things. Like they could have. I don't know. I mean, I guess Naughty Dog is currently making a new IP that's a sci-fi fucking bounty hunter game. And I've seen a lot of people complaining about the fact that the main character is some bald Asian chick. I don't know. I think that like you can have compelling characters with compelling character designs.
That's true. You could.
And so I don't know. At some point, you have to stop and wonder if we're just so worried about putting on a front or an image that we don't care about the actual integrity of our companies or our work. I mean, that's like why you see theft in Bungie. Like Bungie has stolen art, a couple times now. And apparently
So has COD though. COD's been doing that a lot.
yeah, COD
the
has
past
been
few
doing that a
years.
lot. Dude, they are either heavily influenced by or just straight up stealing things from. I mean, there was that whole pack where they had like a Doge or whatever, a Shiba Inu warrior guy, and it was just like a direct rip of someone's fan art of like a soldier Shiba Inu guy.
Yeah, and then they ended up doing it with like another animal too, like a panda or something like that. I think.
Yeah.
didn't they?
So they've done a lot of, dude. It's like these big corporations are trying. There's so much pressure to actually put a product out and a product that sells that they end up stealing. And the thing is like the corporations are so big. It seems like there's a problem vetting what is being put out, because you're Pete Parsons sitting CEO of Bungo, and you tell them make Marathon, and then you tell a guy, your secretary or whoever, who goes and tells like whatever department to work on whatever, and they figure out who's going to work on which part and what the schedules are. And there's so much bureaucracy and fucking like bullshit and red tape. Like there's so many different levels of that it has to go through, that Pete Parsons doesn't know what his fucking guy, his bottom grunt developer, is designing in terms of like text on a wall. Like he just doesn't know. He has no idea, because that guy works for a guy who works for a guy who works for a guy. And you would think through the chain of command that the person supervising that individual would be like, hey, this is stolen. I checked it. I ran it for copyright checks. It's stolen. You're fired. Redo it. Whatever. Pete, that shouldn't.
They should fire him, then make him redo it as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things that like you can blame Pete Parsons, and I would personally blame him for letting the company end up this way, because this is actually a failure of higher management, just being shitty. It's like higher and middle management just being ass. And like if your employees are not meeting the status quo, it's not because they're bad employees. It's because your middle management doesn't know how to fucking hire competent people, or the upper management is pushing too much pressure and they're so out of touch. Like I just said, Pete Parsons doesn't know what that guy's doing. He doesn't have he has unrealistic expectations for what should be happening, when it should be happening, because he's not actually there developing the the code or writing or designing the art or any of that shit. So he'll be like, have this by next week, and it goes down chain command, and they're like, oh, have it by next week, and this dude's like, dog, I'm gonna need 200 hours
for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna need 200 hours to design this. Like I can't do it that fast. And that's one of those things that I feel like big dev studios are really suffering, because there's so much bureaucracy and so much I want to say gerrymandering, but that's not even close to the right term. But there's just so much like shit they have to go through to actually get to the like from where they're starting on the bottom, where they're working, all the way up to like the CEO, who's like picking which projects to do. I don't know. And then you have to worry about investors too.
Yeah. That kind of keeps being an issue, like just more and more nowadays. And like I mean, to a degree it makes sense because it's like obviously like if you make money, you want to make more money. And that's essentially the issue is like instead of just using like a formula that works moderately well to make X amount of money, they want to amplify it and make 2x the money. Because like look at what happened with CD Projekt Red and what ended up happening with Cyberpunk, and they were able to bring it around. But like you had The Witcher 3, everyone loved it. People still to this day say that game and its expansion are some of the best games and expansions ever released.
Yeah.
And the game came out in fucking what was it like 2013 or something like that, 2015. Like it.
Yeah.
So for 10 years, no one's like topped it.
Exactly.
And then they turn around and make another game, and everyone absolutely shit on it because the studio was like, "Oh, cool, let's take how much money we made with The Witcher 3 and fucking double it or triple it." Stupid.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things that like Claire Obscure Expedition 33 or whatever was made by a small team. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, you can't say that because they fucking outsourced work." Like, okay, sure they did, but like the core team, like the core company that was working on that game, it's like 30 people or something like that, 50 people. It's not a lot of people. It's under 100, right? And then you have to look at like Schedule 1. That's just Tyler for the most part, and both of those games are phenomenal games. Like, yes, you know, they're not perfect, there's bugs, but they're not there's not like game breaking bugs that like the cops in Cyberpunk spawning in front of you or in walls or, you know, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's one of those things that like you can forgive more when it's a small team because it is a small team, but at the same time it almost feels like those small teams know that because they're a small team, they have to put more spit and shine on their product because it's going to be under heavy scrutiny. Whereas like AAA games, they're under some sort of scrutiny, but it's usually like, oh yeah, well, like, of course they didn't do it right. It's Call of Duty. They put Call of Duty out every year. It's basically the same formula. Like, just forgive them for that.
You know, part of me wonders how much games like Call of Duty or even fucking Bungie with Marathon, how much they know, like, okay, hey, find an artist in this weird, random, obscure genre and steal their art, because the chances of them finding out about it are slim to none. And even if they do, whatever, we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll just throw money at it. Activision can literally just throw money at it, especially now that Microsoft owns them. Although I'm gonna, this is kind of a hot take, maybe. I think being under Microsoft is gonna have a much smaller tolerance for things like that. Because Microsoft does not like their brand image being tarnished at all.
I don't blame them.
So,
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. And Activision has shown time and time again they don't give a rat's ass about what their brand image is because they're gonna sell anyway.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
So I've always liked to have the podcast go either start with game and then move to movies, or start with movies and then move to games. And I just realized I had a fucking movie topic in between some game topics. So whatever. Forgive me.
Don't forgive him.
Everyone.
Punish him. Just stop listening now. The podcast is over. We talked about movies and then games. We can't now go back to movies. It's against the rules. We're just gonna end it right here. We're gonna cut it.
So 28 years later, finally came out.
28 years later, in fact.
True. I think it actually has been 23 years or something like that.
God damn.
Which is crazy.
Did they start with days or hours?
Days. 28 days, 28 weeks, and then 28 years.
Fuck, dude.
They should have done it 28 months.
Is this a direct sequel to the previous film?
No,
Not
it is a direct sequel.
Not direct in the sense that it takes place, like obviously it takes place years later, right? Because that's the whole premise of the fucking titles.
So 28 Weeks Later wasn't made by the same team that made 28 Days.
Okay.
So I think it ignores 28 Weeks Later. I believe. I have not actually seen 28 Years Later yet. I was really thinking about going to see it today, but I ended up deciding not to. I probably should have though.
You think the kids would like that movie?
100%. Yeah, honestly, you should take them to a midnight showing so that way they can't sleep for the next week.
Abby would be. She can't do scary stuff. Aaron likes to think he can, but I don't think he can either. I downloaded Dead Space and I was like, here, Aaron, play Dead Space. I was about your age when I played it the first time. I think I was a little older. I think I was like 15 or something.
I was gonna say, you definitely would have had to be older than that because that game came out in 2008.
Yeah, okay. So I was 17 when that came out.
Jesus Christ. Tell everyone how old your son is.
He's only 10. Back in my day, it was okay to be scared when you're 17.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that game came out in 2008. I was Aaron's age when it first came out.
So anyways, I downloaded it and he didn't even get to the room where you pick up the plasma cutter and he was like, I don't want to play this anymore. He was like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Holy shit, that's so funny.
And then he wanted to play a different scary game. So I was like, all right, dude. So I downloaded Resident Evil. Oh, I think it's 7. Is 7 then? 7's not the newest. There's an 8, right?
Yeah, 8. Village is 8.
Okay, so it was 7. That's the one where you're like in the house with the mannequins, right? That they had a demo for. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
It spawned him like he was walking out and he was like walking up towards the house and he's like, I don't want to play this anymore. I was like, damn, bro, you didn't even get into the house. Like, fucking, you got to open the fucking drawers and find the cassette tapes and the keys and all the shit and the fucking mannequins. I was like, come on, dude. It's that game is pretty fucking creepy though.
Yeah.
Especially when you're
first
10.
like quarter.
Yeah.
Like,
then it turns into like action, like every Resident Evil. But
yeah, dude, I really wish that whole game was the vibe of that first section when you're first in the house.
What? And there's crazy shit that happens in that that's like supernatural, other than zombies.
Yeah.
Like the fucking mannequin when you turn around and it's like in your face, like fucking SCP shit. Like what the fuck? I wish that game had, I agree. I didn't actually ever finish that game, but I wish it had been creepy because I kind of stopped when it was like stopped being creepy. It would have been overall better. Although in that regard, I played, I was going to say PT, but I actually didn't. I downloaded the demo and then deleted it and then I never played it. And so I can't ever play it now.
Yikes.
Yeah, that's not what I was gonna say. It's now I want to say Cloverfield. What the fuck is that game called? It's the spooky movie. Yeah, spooky movie. Scary game. There were 2 of them, and the second one is kind of crazy. But it's like you're going into an insane asylum type thing, hospital of some
Outlast.
sort. Outlast. Yes, thank you. And that's one of those games that I played through it, and I was like kind of like creeped out. And you get to the very first jump scare. And I was like, dude, I'm going to open this door. It's going to jump scare me. I'm going to flinch in real life. And I'm going to turn this game off and never play it again. And I opened the door and everything I said transpired. It jump scared me. I fucking flinched and threw the controller. And I got up and went over and turned it off and fucking uninstalled it. And I never played it ever again after that. Dude, it was crazy because I was like, dog, I fucking hate... I don't mind scary shit, but jump scares really fucking bother me. Not necessarily that they're like scary, but like because they startle me in such a way, it's like annoying almost. Like I get agitated that it happens because it's like, oh shit. And then it's like, God damn, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Yeah, I'm gonna take the kids to go see 28 Years Later and see how that goes.
Perfect. Um, so worldwide, it has made an estimated 60 million, which is
60.
pretty fucking
Dude,
huge.
this year is on fire for horror movies.
It is. Which is pretty sick because the production cost for the movie was literally 60 million. So just in its opening weekend worldwide, it has recouped its costs. So that's always a good sign.
Is that with advertising?
I actually don't know.
So they're probably still.
The article I was reading did not state.
They're probably still in the red.
Cost.
Although I didn't see many advertisements for it, so maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
Also, recouping your costs in opening weekend's pretty fucking crazy. So yeah, they're gonna end up being fine. And so for reference, Sinners opened up to 48 million. Now I did not get if that was worldwide though. So if that actually made more than Sinners, that's kind of sick.
I think that Sinners number was domestic. Because I would be surprised if it made more than Sinners. Although it's a highly anticipated sequel, so.
Okay. Well, yeah, worldwide 63 million.
Yeah.
So, okay. It was just 48 million in North America.
That's still really good that, you know, Sinners did 63 and this film did 60. Wasn't there another movie we were talked about that opened this year that was also did pretty good?
Yes. What the fuck was it though?
Until Dawn, obviously, dude.
Yeah. Them making a movie off that is so dumb. I liked the game, and I don't plan on watching that movie until it's free. I'll watch it on the streaming service for free.
Did Heretic come out this year?
I think that was last year.
That's what I was
also
thinking.
Don't think that would have done that well.
No, I mean, I think it was.
It was a horror movie, right?
What?
It was a horror movie, right?
Yeah. This list has Smile 2 on it, so there was A Quiet Place that came out at some point.
That was also 2024, I think, or maybe even 2023.
Was it?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Nosferatu.
Was like that definitely. January.
Nosferatu was definitely not 2025, was it?
I think it might have been actually, because no, that was 2024. That must have been like fucking. I think that was December.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, December 25th. It literally opened on Christmas Day.
Of course.
That's barely 2024. Like that's barely 2024. That was basically 2025.
Yeah, I guess so. Bambi the Reckoning. Fuck yeah, dude.
They need to stop doing that. They're making horror movies of like all the fucking Disney shit.
And that's fine, I think. Death of a Unicorn, that was last year, wasn't it?
I think that was this year.
Would you consider that a horror movie? I think that's like a haha hee hee. That's like, when I say horror movies, I'm thinking of shit like that, like Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of what the fuck it was.
There was definitely something. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Yeah. Is that a fucking remake?
It's a sequel. Which is really stupid.
Okay, did that come out yet?
I think it's either coming out this weekend or...
No, it's coming out July 18th, 2025. Yeah, it's coming out in a month. I
don't foresee that doing well, because who the fuck cared about the original?
I don't know any of the people in this fucking... in this list.
I know Jennifer Love is returning, but
yeah, Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah, and then the other guy.
Other guy?
Yeah, it's who plays Kanan, I think. Fucking what's his nuts? I can't fucking think of his name.
Kanan and what? Oh, you're talking about Freddie Prinze Jr. probably.
Freddie Prinze. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, him and Jennifer Love.
I was like,
returning.
brother, who are you talking about? Okay, well, I mean, cool. I don't know. That's we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this year seems pretty good for horror movies. We talked about Clown and Cornfield. We talked about some other movie.
Yeah, I cannot think of what the other movie was. I'm pretty sure it was a
something
horror
else.
movie though.
Yeah.
But Sinners doing that. Sinners doing better than 28 Years Later is cool because Sinners is like an original fucking thing, whereas 28 Years Later is a sequel to a franchise from years ago. But yes, hot year for horror, which is always good. My favorite genre.
We need to see this film. The film was released in theaters and VOD on March 21st, 2025. And the film is called Popeye the Slayer Man. It's a
we can watch that for movie night.
Yeah, it's a B movie. Fucking
that sounds like it could be a C movie eventually.
And there's also a Popeye's Revenge, by the way.
Is it a sequel?
I don't think so. It's a different director.
Perfect.
Does Predator count as horror? I don't think it does, but maybe.
I think horror is such a fucking wide genre, so that probably would fall under like creature film, I guess, because the Predator do be kind of a monster.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll be watching 28 Years Later very soon.
The monkey.
It's supposed to be the first in a new trilogy, so there are two more movies coming out. So this one doing well is good because it could have fucking tanked, and then they decided to scrap the other two movies, which would have been an L. It does kind of suck though, because like the franchise up until the sequel to this movie had a really cool naming scheme. It was 28 days later, 28 weeks later, then 28 years later. The sequel is 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, which is kind of shitty. And then there might even be a title for the third movie as well.
What the fuck would they do? 28 decades later? Like, what's after years?
That's the issue. Yeah, that's the issue.
They should have started with fucking minutes. 28 minutes later, 28 hours, 28 days, 28 weeks, 28 months, 28 years. They needed to have more increments in there. It went straight from weeks to years. Like, where the fuck the months at, brother? 28 weeks is like 2 years. I mean, half a year, and 28 months is like 2 years.
The next movie is Untitled.
Untitled, hell yeah.
Oh, it's a different director for Bone Temple. I don't like that. Why? So
Different
Alex Garland is still the screenwriter.
Well, okay.
Danny Boyle. Okay, so this is really weird. Danny Boyle directed 28 Years Later, and he's directing the fifth movie. He is not directing The Bone Temple, though, for whatever reason.
You think they're making it at the same time or something? Also, didn't Danny Boyle do Slumdog Millionaire?
I think he did whatever you wanted him to do. He did do that. Wow, good one.
Hell yeah. And he did 127 hours or whatever the fuck that shit was.
I think it was 127 inches.
Yeah, he did 127 inches in Your Mom. You're right. He did do that.
Exactly.
You know what's funny is I had read about the guy in 127 hours or whatever. I had like read the thing about Aaron Ralston or whatever that kid's name is. And I was like, damn, that's fucking insane. That's like a crazy experience. And then the film like got announced, and I was like, what the fuck? I just learned about this.
Well, that's funny.
Yeah. So I don't know if like someone was like talking about it or like it had just like come out, like it just happened or what the fuck. But it was like one of those things that like you hear a word and then you start hearing the word everywhere.
You start seeing it. Yeah. I was about to mention that.
There's a word for that theory. Dude, look at this fucking watch tan line. Holy shit.
There is a word for that theory, but I don't know what it's called.
Dead internet theory. I don't fucking know.
Yeah. So let's talk Nintendo Switch success because this is fucking wacky woozy, in my opinion.
Hell yeah! Shout out
Um,
Lucy, my favorite character from GTA San Andreas.
yeah. So, the Nintendo Switch 2 has already surpassed the lifetime sales of the Xbox Series S, the Series X, and the digital PS5 in Japan. And that is fucking insane. So the Switch 2 just came out June 5th, okay? We are not even fucking 20 days into the console being released, and it has surpassed the sales of three consoles that have been out for almost 5 fucking years in a month.
It
That is
is.
so fucking insane to think about. Japan obviously be loving some fucking Nintendo, clearly.
Yeah,
Um,
they
the
do.
Switch 2 also became the fastest selling console in history. Because it sold 3.5 million units in just a matter of days. And so just for comparison, the Steam Deck has sold somewhere between 4 and 5 million since 2022, which is also crazy. Um I was trying to get concrete data on specifically the disk drive PS5 and I couldn't fucking find that, at least very easily. I wanted to see because it specified digital PS5 and the disk drive PS5 sold better in Japan. So it has not passed that yet, although I'm sure it fucking soon will.
Yeah. Now, what I'm interested in is when you look at their physical games that are being sold for that, um, outside of first party games, do you know that Cyberpunk is their best selling third party game?
I did actually. I saw that article that
Yeah.
talked about that.
Well, and so I'm wondering because it's interesting to think about, but I have a list here of the titles that were in this article I was reading. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 titles that came out as physical titles, right? That you could buy physically. And of those 14, only 5 of them are a cartridge. The other 9 are either a game key card where the cartridge has to be in your console and it lets you play a digital version of the game, or if you just get a code in a box where you redeem the code, and so you have a physical box that you could put a cartridge in if you had one, but there's not one. You just have a code. You just buy a piece of plastic and you open it up and there's a code inside and you redeem the code on the website, right? So 2 of them are Code and Box, right, which was Split Fiction and Sid Meier's Civilization 6. And of the 5 games that are on cartridge, 2 of them are third party, being Rune Factory, Guardians of Ozma, and Cyberpunk 2077. So it's interesting to me that the console is selling really well despite having like a terrible, like, yes, it has the whole Switch 1 library that you can play, and if you already had Switch 1 games, it's pretty easy to move them over. Most of them work, if not all of them. And then some of them have Switch 2 upgrades, like you were playing Pokemon earlier, which is a Switch 1 game.
Hell yeah, I was.
And
shout out Pokemon.
Yeah, and so my thing is like I don't really care to play like Cyberpunk. I want to play that at some point, but I own it on PS5. But if I was going to play it, I'd probably play it on PC.
How do you feel about playing the Grand Theft Auto Remastered trilogy?
Well, now that you asked me, I think that I'm going to have to take a minute to clean all the slobber up off of my face to understand what you're even trying to say here. my thing is, I personally bought a Switch 2 to play Switch 2 games, and of the Switch 2 library, there's not a lot. Like, we talked about this already. There's literally a tech demo and there's Mario Kart World. That's it. Like, that's your Switch 2 games still, and we're almost at 20 days since launch. Like, they announced Donkey Kong. So Donkey Kong will be coming out, but it looked like Donkey Kong's also going to come out on Switch 1. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it looked like it was going to when I was looking at the thing. It looked like it was also going to be on Switch 1, but hopefully that'll be Switch 2 only. But my thing is there's like, yes, there are now games that the Switch 2 can run that the Switch 1 can't, like Cyberpunk, for instance. But like, people were playing Witcher 3 on the first Switch. Like, I don't know, like, this console's just like not powerful enough, and it's not, you know, it doesn't have the new enough technology that, like, it is kind of lacking in that regard. So they really just need to put more titles out, and I don't know, launching with so few titles is just, it seems crazy to me that it's selling so well, despite the fact that
you can't fucking play shit on it.
I mean, yes, there's a catalog. There's plenty of catalog. Technically, if you've never had a console before and this is your first console, it's a pretty good one to have because it's brand new. It's got brand new Switch 2 games that are going to be coming out. So if you like Nintendo, you're going to have all the access to all those games. And then it has the entire like Switch 1 library, right? Which is pretty phenomenal. Like, what other console can you say launched like that? Well, except the PlayStation 2 and then the PS3, the ones that were backwards compatible, and the Xbox 360. Like, backwards compatibility is cool, but at the same time, like, I want new games. It's not the only console to release with so few titles, but it's just interesting that they lined it up in a way that they could have released it with Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong, I think, at the same time.
I feel like they probably should have as well.
Because I think GameCube came out, and I think GameCube launched, and I got Pikmin. Maybe I only had Pikmin. Maybe GameCube launched. What were the launch titles on GameCube? Hold on.
Nothing and nothing.
Because that's the last Nintendo console I got launch week, by the way.
Yikes.
Yeah, they're so hard to get. Okay, so the launch titles were Luigi's Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, Wave Racer. Okay, I had Wave Racer, or Wave Race, or whatever it was called. It was just Wave Race Blue Storm. And Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 Rogue Leader. Apparently Pikmin wasn't even a launch title.
Damn. This guy's making shit up.
I know, right? More detailed launch titles: Luigi's Mansion, Super Monkey Ball, Wave Race. I had that game. Crazy Taxi, Dave Mirror Freestyle, Madden NFL 2002, All-Star Baseball 2002, Batman Vengeance, NHL Hits 2002. Okay, I had that game also. Burnout 2, Point of Impact, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and Disney's Tarzan Untamed. So it launched, and I had Monkey Ball, Wave Race, and NHL Hits, I think, at launch. Which, you know, 3 games is better than 1 game and a tech demo.
That is true.
I don't know. The tech demo should have been free, maybe.
I definitely think it should have been free, because you also have to buy all the accessories to complete the tech demo, which is shitty.
Yeah. Well, and so the other thing is like, what the fuck? Like, it came with a camera, and like, it's bootleg Discord on the Switch 2. I haven't even tried to use it. I accidentally hit the button one time, and it pulled up a fucking menu in the middle of my game, and I was like, oh shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit that. I was just trying to go home. Because it's like, who's gonna use this? And I was like, what do you mean? I'm trying to go home, and I'm not fucking use voice chat. And so, like, there's a camera, and there's a microphone, and there's bootleg Discord, and the frame rate looks fucking terrible on those, by the way.
Good.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't know why.
I hope it's 18 FPS.
The craziest part about it being bootleg Discord is that there's a fucking green box around whoever's talking. Like, they could have picked any color and they're like, yeah, green. Green.
It's just Discord at home.
It's
What the
literally
fuck,
just Discord at home, dog. I saw that and I was like, oh, dude, when I first saw it, I was like, oh shit, they have Discord integration. And then they're like, we have our own new voice chat thing. And I was like, brother, what the fuck? Y'all could have had Discord integration and you made your own shit. Brother. I don't know what is moving consoles. Like, I genuinely don't know what's moving consoles. Or if it's a thing where like people want games that will be coming out, like Duskbloods or Pokemon, or they want a game that's coming out in the future and they need to secure their console now because they don't want to fight for consoles then. Because Pokemon's super popular. This game coming out, Arceus, is gonna be one of the most popular Pokemon. Like, technically it's not a mainline game, so it's gonna be like one of the most popular non-mainline Pokemon games. Not Arceus, fucking Pokemon Legends ZA or whatever.
Yeah, I knew what you meant. Like the next Legends
the
game.
Arceus sequel. Technically, it's not a sequel to Arceus at all. It's a reimagining of X and Y. But the whole thing is like X and Y were super popular. I think so anyway. I really enjoyed them. They were my favorites. If people are buying consoles now so that they have the console when the game comes out, that makes sense to me. Otherwise, I just don't know that Mario Kart World is selling consoles. Like, game is cool. And I was talking to Nevada about it, and she said that she finished everything you could do in the game in like 2 days. Like, there's
I don't have all the characters yet or outfits for the characters, but
was she like
I think basically the same.
She
I
beat
think we're done with it.
she beat all the races and did all the open world like free roam shit. And it's like after that there's like nothing to do except online races, which, you know, it's a racing game. The whole point of racing games is you redo the races and get better at the tracks and all that. That's fine. I think they should have dropped the console. If it was me and I was dropping a brand new console and I have beloved IPs, I would have dropped with a Mario title. That would have been my flagship, is just a Mario title. So, I mean, Mario Kart works for that, I guess. I would have dropped a Smash Brothers or something for you know, little older people, you know. And I mean, they did good with the Switch one with the like Zelda. I don't know that I would drop Zelda. I'm not the biggest Zelda fan. I understand people like it. It would be fine to drop Zelda, but like with like the Donkey Kong game, I almost feel like they should have dropped that too. And like
no, I definitely think they should have. I feel like for a console release, you should drop like 3
exclusives.
Console sellers. Yeah.
Like, and maybe not everyone's gonna buy Mario Kart World, but maybe someone will buy Donkey Kong instead, or maybe someone will buy the Zelda game, or, you know, whatever you drop it with. But I don't know. I guess Nintendo be greedy, and I think they don't want to. They wanted people to buy Mario Kart World because it's the only game that you can buy that's like Mario. It's their first party game. Like, it is their first party game.
I'm really curious. I think this would be the first Nintendo console in a hot minute if they don't, but I wonder if we're going to get a 3D Mario game.
Oh, 100%. They're going to drop a 2D Mario game that's going to be Mario Brothers, which is that like 2D running across the thing. They just had one come out recently, actually.
Wonders or whatever.
Wonders. They're going to drop like Mario Maker 3 or something like that. And then shortly after that, they're gonna drop a 3D Mario. Like, that's been their kind of like formula, is they drop a 2D Mario and then they drop a 3D Mario, and then I don't know. But so the thing is right now they dropped Mario Kart, right? So they have a Mario Kart game, and then the next exclusive coming out is Donkey Kong, right? And so when Donkey Kong comes out, I have a feeling that Donkey Kong game is going to sell really well because most people are going to be, even casual players, are going to be kind of done with Mario Kart at that time. They're going to want a game to play on their new console, and they're going to want a first party game, because why would you play something not first party? And what's coming out? Donkey Kong. Like, I feel like they planned this and staged this in such a way that, like, when the casual audience is kind of like tapering out and like getting to the end of something, boom, the next title's dropping. And they're gonna like drip feed content essentially. Where I mean, they could have easily, from what I've seen of the Donkey Kong game, it's like it's ready to ship now, but it's coming out in like a month or whatever.
Damn.
I don't know. I think they like manufactured what is it? They're creating demand themselves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
That's my take anyway.
So the thing about Super Mario Brothers Wonder is before Wonder, the one that was on Switch was technically a Wii U port.
Right. Well, and there's Mario Maker too, but
yeah. So yeah, Super Mario Brothers Wonder was kind of like the Switch one 2D Super Mario Brothers game.
And that one technically came out after Odyssey, which was the 3D Mario.
Yeah.
But they will inevitably do something with that. We might even get Super Mario Wonder as a Switch upgraded version, Switch 2 upgraded.
Yeah, and that'll buy them some more time. Oh wow, what the fuck? I thought Wonder came out more recently than that. That evidently came out in 2023.
But it was like the end of 2023, I think.
October. Dude, I thought that came out like legit maybe only a year ago.
Yeah, it does feel like that, but it is almost 2 at this point.
Yeah, it is close to 2. Yeah, I thought that legit had just come out.
Well,
that's crazy.
They had the craziest thing is that they had a lot of games come out, right? It's like the final hurrah as the Switch one, I guess. There was like the Princess Peach Showtime, there was Mario Kart or Mario Wonder, they dropped a Mario Party, which by the way, can we get a Mario Party on Switch too? Come on, hello? And,
yeah, true.
Dude, the way they've been doing Mario Party has really been pissing me off. Each Mario, they released 3 Mario Party games on Switch 1, and all 3 of them could have been a single title.
And
just
probably
smash them all together. Do you know how fun it would be if you had like 180 different mini games or whatever? Because I think that each game has like 60 mini games. Like if you had 180 different mini games to play, and it was just a random one every time, plus all the different boards, like it would have been a much better, but they're so greedy. And each one of those games was $60 too.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And it's a Nintendo exclusive, so they fucking never go on sale either, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jamboree was a little bit better, but the first Super Mario Party game was a complete fucking ripoff. There was like I think 3 boards, maybe only 2 boards.
Nah, there was 4 boards, I think.
Was it 4? Okay.
Yeah.
It still should have been more than 4.
Yeah.
Superstars is like a remake of the older ones.
Yeah.
Which was nice. So there was like 5 or 6 boards in that one.
But like they could have like it could have been DLC, dude.
Oh, 100%.
Like both of those could have been DLC. Jamboree could have been DLC. I don't know. It's tragic, really.
Yeah. Jamboree at least does have 7 boards though.
Yeah, that's better than not having 7 boards, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I almost feel like for a Nintendo console to come out, you should have like you said Super Smash Brothers, at least a 2D or a 3D Mario.
A Mario Party,
Super Mario Kart, Mario Party.
I'm okay with waiting for Pokemon till holiday, but like a Pokemon game maybe.
Yeah. And those usually come out yearly, correct?
Pokemon? Yeah. It's like every other year.
Okay.
There's something Pokemon that comes out every year, but the mainline titles are like 3 or 4 years between each one.
Okay.
Because like Scarlet and Violet came out in what, 2022 or something like that.
So we're due for a mainline.
Well, yeah, we're getting Legends or whatever.
Well, that doesn't count.
It kind of does though. It's got the like, it's slightly different, but it's got the it's closer to the formula than like Mystery Dungeon or whatever. Yeah, so Scarlet and Violet came out in 2022, and I think Arceus came out the year before that. Oh, it came out earlier that year. So it came out in January of the same year, 2022, and Scarlet and Violet came out in November. So maybe we're due for a new main line.
They should just give us one anyways.
I still don't know what's selling consoles like. What is so? It's for being as how much people I've heard talk shit about Switch 2. For it to be doing this well is just incredible.
Insane, yeah. Like you said, I mean, that was essentially the reason why I got it. Like the game that we wanted to play together isn't even out yet,
right?
And won't be out for a hot minute. So I was pretty much just getting it just to secure it. Like I didn't want to have to scramble to fucking get it down the line.
Same.
I will say I am thoroughly enjoying having one. You mentioned earlier I did finally dive into Pokemon, and starting with Brilliant Diamond, and I got fucking super hooked. Right before we started the podcast, I got to my first gym leader. Absolutely fucking smoked his boots.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I'm hooked. I am a Pokemon fan now. That's kind of it's not the only time I've ever played Pokemon, but it pretty much is. My dad dated this girl whose son had one of them. I'm pretty sure it was probably from the first gen, because I'm pretty sure it was on a non-color Game Boy, which would have been the first gen.
Oh yeah, or Gen 2.
Or Gen 2. Unless I'm misremembering, it could have been a Game Boy Color, but I know it wasn't a newer console than the Game Boy Color. So it was either the Game Boy or the Game Boy Color, and it was like the first. Which games came out for the color?
Red and blue.
Like how
in America, red and blue, and then yellow, and then so technically these are all Game Boys still, right? So it was red, blue, or green in Japan, and then yellow, and then it was gold, silver, and then the very first Pokemon game that was Game Boy Color was Pokemon Crystal. And then after that, everything was Game Boy Advance.
Okay, so it could have been up to Crystal then, potentially. I'm pretty sure it was not color though.
If the Game Boy had no color, it couldn't have been Crystal, because all the cartridges had a little cut, because in the older Game Boy, in the original Game Boy, when you turned it on, a little switch went over so you couldn't pull the cartridge out.
Oh wow.
So yeah, and so on the color, they removed the little device that goes over that would hold the cartridge in completely. So their cartridges are just perfect squares.
It's kind of funny that Nintendo's always been like cartridgey. I guess like for the Wii, they switched away from it for a little bit, and the GameCube. But the GameCube had weird ass fucking discs. They were small.
Yeah. Yep.
So they have always done like pretty unconventional stuff.
Did you know that the Wii can play those discs?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I did know that. Yeah. And you could do something weird with the GameCube as well.
Yeah, you
like
could
some backwards compatible shit.
It had some interesting peripherals. They actually, I was watching a video on YouTube where someone was talking about the peripherals for the GameCube, and there was this one peripheral that was for big tournaments where you could have it could help you hook up 4 extra controllers. right?
That's cool.
And so, but anyways, it's like a little bar, and apparently with the right adapters, you can hook it up to the Switch 2, and it works on the Switch 2.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
it is kind of cool.
Oh yeah, maybe I'm just thinking about the fucking Wii being backwards compatible with the GameCube. Actually,
Fair. Oops, fucking not what I want to be hearing.
hmm. Oh, or did I? Maybe my friend had the fucking Game Boy player attachment on their GameCube.
Maybe.
Because that's what I was remembering. I could have swore there was like fucking something you could plug in, um, or there was somewhere you could put the Game Boy cartridges, and it would fucking read it. Huh. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I wonder why they like sticking to cartridges, or like some unconventional type of
It's a
media transfer.
I'm not sure. It's a something.
It is something. You're not wrong about
It's
that.
it's like a choice of some sort. Like, they understand that their consumers look like the people who like the cartridges are like really into the cartridges, and the way that like storage works these days, like you can get a lot of storage onto a little card. It's not a problem. Like, it's not like discs ran it. In fact, it's a better solution than discs, because you can fit big ass games on cartridges now that don't fit on discs. Granted, with the UHD Blu-rays or whatever, you can fit like a significant amount of data on them. But the original Blu-rays that came out, I think if you triple layered them, your max capacity was 150 gigs. And the little cartridges we have now can go up to like a terabyte.
Yeah, and think about the fact that like think of all those games on 360 that had to be like 2 or 3 discs
Yeah, exactly.
to fit the whole game. Whereas like Nintendo could fucking fit it into one tiny ass little cartridge.
The other thing is the funniest part about this whole thing though is like cartridges have now become like the best way to store data other than like downloading it onto a hard drive. But Nintendo will never fully utilize what they have.
What do you mean?
Like their games are not, like their consoles, for instance, are just not strong enough to really make use of that. And there's no games they're making that are so big that they would demand a cartridge like that.
So I agree. However, the fact that they're about to put out a sequel console that is hardly an improvement, and it's going to become the best-selling console of all time. I don't know why the fuck I said time so weird. The best-selling console of all time.
Tonight is the night I fall for you.
That I will fall for you. That's probably their reasoning behind that. Like, why?
That's what I'm saying though. Like, they technically have like the meta, and they're just like, okay, who cares?
They're like, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, same thing with reducing the price of their games. It's like fucking. They're like, why should we? People are gonna buy them.
Yeah, we don't have to reduce. In fact, we're gonna raise the price.
It's kind of annoying, honestly. It's the fans and the consumer. That's the problem, because people still fucking buy it.
You're the problem.
Yeah,
he points at himself. Yeah, vote with your wallet. I bought a Switch 2. I'm gonna probably buy more.
I am the problem, kind of. I bought all these games third party. I have not told you yet, I don't think. But
oh Jesus, how many games did you buy other than Did you buy GTA? Hold on. First of all,
No,
did you
I
buy
ended up not
GTA?
getting
Okay.
GTA.
Okay,
No.
because
Mostly because that guy was being a fucking pussy about it.
Because he messaged us today, for those of you who don't know, which is everyone, except for Daniel.
True.
And he was like, should I get GTA on Switch too? And Daniel was like, why wouldn't you get on PC? And he's like, well, it's broken on PC. And Daniel was like, huh? I'm adding a lot of eloquence and intelligence to Daniel's side of the story. It was not that intelligent. It was more like, oh, no. But you know, we have to translate for him, otherwise you won't understand what he's saying. Okay. He's actually just so big brained that it looks like he's stupid, but he's actually just so fucking smart. We mortals can't comprehend him. Anyways,
true.
What did you buy?
So I bought Violet,
which
was risky because I had not played Diamond yet. So it's a good thing I am liking Diamond as much as I am. I went ahead and bought Violet because I found someone selling it for, I think I paid him 40 shipped.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. You bought a Switch 2, and on your Switch 2, you had Tears of the Kingdom. Yes? And Breath of the Wild.
And Breath of the Wild. Yep.
And you got Mario Kart World with your Switch.
Yep.
Okay.
And I already had Crash Bandicoot.
Well, whatever. Who cares? You can play that on whatever. Then you buy Diamond,
Sword and Shield. Both of them.
Okay. And now you bought Violet?
Yeah, Violet.
Okay.
I bought Odyssey.
Okay. You did mention you played that a little bit earlier.
Yeah. And I also bought Metal Gear Solid.
Which one?
The trilogy collection. I think that's the only way you can buy it on Switch.
By the way, no, you can actually buy them all individually. You bought it where? You bought the Metal Gear Solid collection where? On the eShop?
No, third party. That's what I was saying. All these games I bought third party.
Might have made a oopsie fucky wucky. That was actually on sale this weekend for cheap. I want to say it was like $30.
I bought it for 20. So.
Okay, well, good job then. It might have been 20 though. It might have been $19, or each game was $19.
Right now it is on sale on Amazon for 25.
The digital version was on sale on the console.
Yeah,
because I almost bought it. I was like, damn, that's a good price. But I don't actually. I don't actually want to play those games on Switch. I have been thinking, because I just don't want to play them on a handheld console. I want to play them on my TV. Which I know you can. I know. But I meant like I want to play them on like an actual like a beefy, powerful console. You know. Yes, I know. And you can fucking dock the Switch, and then you can play on the TV. I don't buy those. I don't buy Switches so that I can play them on the TV. Although generally I end up playing them on the TV most of the time because the little screen be straining my eyeballs.
That's the only way I had played, or like in handheld mode. But when I was playing Pokemon, I was waiting for you to get ready, so I was just sitting at my computer with the screen in like kickstand mode, and I fucking had my charging controller, like my Joy-Cons and the charging controller, and I was playing that way. And it was actually pretty nice because that small ass screen was still pretty fucking close to me. And it was nice not having to hold it.
Yeah, that is always nice. I have a TV right here. You can't see it, but there's a TV here.
Can you grab the TV and show it to us?
I can't. I mean, I could turn the desk under the TV is not on camera ever, so it's very, very messy. Oh, princess.
you've been a bad girl.
Right now I'm looking at, I've got a Switch 1 dock that is collapsed over, as well as like some controllers. There's a grip. There's a couple of remotes. I'm gripping. There's some I think that's thermal paste. There's
Fuck yeah.
there's my CPU, my 9800 X3D, right there on the desk, covered in dust, by the way.
Hey, mine's right beside me, so
I've got like 40 PS4 games, and actually, I don't know how. Hold on, one of them. So it's a stack of PS4 games that's kind of like haphazard, like kind of topsy turvy, leaning tower of Pisa, and one of them. So if this is the most recent one on the top, one of them is hanging on there like this. It's like halfway off, and it's like balanced on the edge. I'm not actually sure. I'm gonna send a picture of that to you. I'm not actually sure how it's doing that, but it's like, anyways, there's a bunch of shit over there, but my TV is right here, and I used to have a chair. Actually, you can see it in some of my older streams, VODs and stuff. I used to have a chair right here, right?
Mm-hmm.
But my desk is an L desk now, so I don't have it. I don't have room for a chair, so I only have this chair that I'm sitting in, and playing in Herman Miller on a TV is not that comfortable. So I've actually been putting my chair up against the desk so it's out of the way and just standing there and playing Switch. I'll just stand right here where I'm at under my fan and just play on the TV like that. That's been kind of nice, but you're standing, which I mean, I guess there's not really any problem with that, but
Depends on who you ask.
True. If you ask someone without legs, they might be a little upset that you are even asking them that question.
That's crazy.
You can go up to
honestly.
You can go up to a quadriplegic and you say, "How do you feel about standing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
What's your stance on standing?
Yeah.
Exactly.
You should give me a standing ovation.
Ovulation?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Exactly.
That's how you get babies. Standing babies.
Sometimes.
Not to be confused with stillbirth babies.
So, last topic.
Okay.
And it is gonna end up getting looped into Nintendo slightly, which you will see. But Liza P.
Shout Pinocchio.
Exactly. Shout out Pinocchio. Finally hit a huge milestone. They just hit 3 million copies sold, which is cool. They also just had a massive launch for a new expansion. And the developers got a really cool fucking bonus. So the team at Round 8 Studio is being rewarded with a cash bonus of, I think it was $7,500, extra
Hell
paid
yeah.
vacation.
Hell yeah.
And they all received a Nintendo Switch 2. Not even the first one, the second one.
Hell yeah.
Which is really cool.
Could you imagine working for a company and your boss is like, "All right, guys, you've done a wonderful job. You've been working really hard. I'm really proud of your last project. Pizza party on me."
Yeah.
And then you work for this other company and they're like, "Hey man, I know you've been working really hard. We're going to give you paid vacation, a bonus check to spend on whatever you want. And I know how much you guys love Nintendo Switch 2s. Everyone gets a Nintendo Switch 2. It's a Switch 2 party."
That'd be sick.
Where would you rather work?
Fuck.
Yeah. Talk about benefits,
pizza
brother.
party place. I love
exactly
pizza.
The pizza party place, dude. Everyone loves a good pizza party.
No, that's actually really cool. There needs to be more of that in the gaming industry.
In the not just even the gaming industry, just in the workplace in general. Like pizza party, it's like a pizza party is cool if your boss throws a pizza party like every Friday or something.
Yeah.
But if it's like, "Hey team, you did great this year, pizza party," like fuck you. Like fuck you, dog. I'll take my fucking 30 cents or whatever it costs for my amount of pizza.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, maybe that will be like a wake up call, because I can't think of another instance where a company has been rewarded like that. So
if it
maybe
happens,
that'll be like a
if it happens, we probably just don't hear about it.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't want to say it never happens because I want to be optimistic about things, But the pizza party thing seems par for the course. That or the Pete Parsons of your company just fucking cuts himself a bonus and lays off half the staff.
Hey guys, congratulations on 3 million units sold. You're
bought
all
a
fired,
Maserati.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh boy.
I really want to play Liza P because that's like Bloodborne, but
Pinocchio.
actually on PC. And yeah, Pinocchio.
It's single player though.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't think you should play it until you get on crowd control.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Yep. Uh-huh. See? Big brain.
Shout out episode 13.
Yeah, episode 13 of Between a Rock and a Bald Spot. It's like, I wouldn't use a pointer finger to, it's like it's more than a spot is what I'm trying to tell you. I hate to break it to you. I know you just got diagnosed with this earlier, but I'm just trying to I'm trying to help you come to terms with the fact that it's not really a spot. It's more like a bald country.
Damn.
All right. Anyways, that's episode 13. Let's wrap it.